with my experience here in academia, what I'm finding is that instead of me concentrating, when I started 20 years ago, I could just focus more of my effort into teaching and doing my craft, which is I'm a concert pianist. And as the years went by, I find that, there is more and more of this bureaucracy that creeps in to my life and to my academic life. There's just meetings all over the place. I mean, last week we have meetings after meetings after meetings, and it's just getting out of my ears already. And this bureaucracy, and what I find is that, yeah, we meet so much, but we don't accomplish anything. It's just a waste of time. And it's like, what is happening in this atmosphere of academia? I mean, it's just a puzzle to me, and I can't even concentrate. It erodes my desire to practice, to perfect my craft, to teach my students.
What Simeon was maybe too polite to read from that essay was that I realized that Heart of Darkness was about bureaucracy because I finally recognized in the central bureaucrat this sort of creepily, subtly evil manager, the chairman of my department. But more broadly, I mean, David Graeber, the late David Graeber, wrote in his book Utopia of Rules, which is about bureaucracy, about not just nonprofit or governmental bureaucracies, but even in the corporate sector, the tendency of bureaucracies to constantly grow, because the way bureaucrats acquire power is to put more people underneath themselves.
Max Weber were on this call, he would just say this is the downside of modernity. I mean, this is why reading Weber is such a downer. He said when things get to a certain scale, that charismatic authority is replaced by bureaucratic authority. And bureaucratic authority is rule-bound, and it has to do with boxes and flowcharts. And those boxes can theoretically be filled by anybody. And so it kind of makes all of us into functionaries in a very real way.
Again, the layers of bureaucracy. There is the dean, there is the assistant dean, there is the assistant to the assistant dean, there is the second assistant to the, oh my goodness. And then they are making all of these rules for us to do. And it's just, again, checking the boxes. The other thing is that colleges, especially, my college where we pride into liberal college, diversity of the disciplines. But when the bureaucracy comes into play, what I find is that they want to uniformalize, I think I've made up a word, all the disciplines. So, of course, arts and humanities are different from the sciences, from the business, from theology and religious studies, but they all want to make exactly the same metric rule for all the classes and all the workloads of the faculty and all the preparations. It wants to even it out so that everybody is homogeneous, and there is no more specialty of, the music is different from finance, from theology, and the diversity becomes diluted.
Interestingly, at the same time that diversity is now this big buzzword, but it only means one particular thing.